Right? We're leaning forward slightly, elbows bent. That is it right there. Right? That recovery leg a little bit more and that knee drive leg a little bit more. This is where we need to be. Right here, right here, and we're leaning forward slightly. That is the perfect running form right there. I'm gonna rest this here. Today we're looking at 5 mistakes that could be making you slower. So without further ado, let's go. If you haven't subscribed to the Lifestyle Athletics YouTube channel, remember to like and subscribe. Share the video with anybody who you think will find this information valuable. So let's jump right into it. The first thing that's gonna make you slow or it's gonna slow you down is being very stiff when you're trying to sprint all out. Sprinting is counterintuitive, right? Naturally, if you're thinking about going fast or moving something fast, you're going to tense up the muscle to try to get the most out of the muscle, right? What you want to focus on is being very aggressive with the movement, but being as relaxed as possible. It's counterintuitive, but the best sprinters in the world, the fastest guys on planet Earth, they do this very well. They're very explosive. They're moving as fast as they can, but they look very relaxed, right? Go watch back the 100-meter finals at the Olympics. Look at the guys who finish fourth, fifth, and sixth. Look at the guys who finish first, second, and third. They were able to hold their form together while staying as relaxed as possible, right? So you want relaxed wrist. You don't want to tense up your wrist like this, right? You want relaxed wrist. What I say is not a ball, but like a slight, like I'm holding a ball in my hand like this. So I don't want to lock my fist like that. What my favorite is to my thumbs over my these fingers and I try to hold this position. This is what I try to do. I don't lock the arm and I don't stiffen it up like that. I hold it like that, right? And it's the next thing you have to focus on is what your shoulders are doing. So you don't want your shoulders being too high coming up to your neck. You want them down and relaxed. Think about it. If the shoulders are here, you're restricting range of motion, right? But if the shoulders are down, you're gonna get more range out of your shoulders, right? You can, and the shoulders are very important when it comes on to sprinting because that's what you're using to add balance, coordination, stability, right? Using the arms to move the legs along, right? So stiffness in the shoulders and the wrists, that's a no-no. Cut that out if you want to improve, if you want to sprint faster. Anybody, anywhere you are, if you're a soccer player for any sport, relax the shoulders, relax the wrists. It's counterintuitive, but it will help you to sprint faster. The next mistake that most sprinters make are what's slowing you down is overstriding or understriding, right? Taking too much steps or taking too much long steps, right? What you want to focus on is powerful steps. You want your legs landing under your body and pushing out of that, right? So if most sprinters, when you see sprinters getting hamstring injuries, is because they're overstriding a little bit, so the hamstring is weak and the hamstring is doing most of the work. You don't want to plant the foot on the ground. You want to push out of the ground, right? So the ground contact shouldn't be flat. The ground contact should be quick, right? That's the main thing. How's your foot landing on the ground? Are you focused on letting that foot land under your body, or are you just planting and taking big steps? So the next thing you want to focus on here to increase your stride power, you want to focus on your sprint drills. Where is your foot landing when you're doing your sprint drills? Is it under your body, outside your body? Are you engaging your hips? Are you coming from the hips with the power, or is it just you're picking up your foot and just planting it back down? Everything needs to be coming from the hip and controlled by your abdominal muscles, right? And your glutes and your hamstring. So sprint drills are going to be the key thing to help you to focus on ground contact. I specifically like to do bent knee bounce, straight leg bounce, and I like to do the B skips. These are the three that I implement into my training for athletes who I see that need to work on that hip position and learning how to hit the ground and push out of the ground instead of planting their foot in the ground. And that right there is going to be number 2. Number 3 here is a big one. This is something that most athletes and coaches don't think matters, but mobility training, right? Think about what your muscle does. Think about what happens when you're sprinting. If you have tight hips, you're going to restrict range of motion. If you have tight shoulders, you're restricting range of motion. Yeah, if you have a tight back, it's the same thing. So you want to focus on mobility exercises. I treat mobility training as serious as I treat speed training or strength training or plyos, or when I'm focused on drills, I treat all of that with this equal amount of emphasis, right? So mobility training is something that you should not neglect before and after training. What you could do is set a specific day, like say you train 4 days a week and you have day number 5, you could treat that as an active recovery day and you focus on mobility exercises, right? And again, I have multiple videos with showing you guys how to do mobility training specific to sprinters. So if you haven't tapped in, I'm going to leave a link in here somewhere and you go check it out. Number 4 is going to be overtraining. And by overtraining, I mean you cannot go to the track and sprint 5 days a week and think you're going to get fast, right? You have to recover after each training session in order to maximize on each training session, right? So your body cannot be working hard and then you think you're going to get the results you want. So next thing you want to do is making sure you're finding time to recover and also listen to your body. So if any day you go out there and you feel like your times are steady, staying at the same pace, or it's dropping, that's a sign that you're overtraining and you need to cut back on the training a little bit and focus a little bit more on recovery. I always say that a really good coach, the philosophy is going to be, how can I keep my athletes fresh for performance, right? And then the last one we're going to look at here is not being intentional with your drills. Guys, how you do your drills is how you're going to sprint. So if you're not intentional with your drills, when you sprint, your form is going to fall apart. So get very intentional with your drills in order to maximize on your performance. So, and I have multiple videos on here teaching people how to improve their sprint drills. So these are the top 5 things that you need to focus on. If you lock in on these things, you're going to get the results you want. So without further ado, I'm out.
And you know I'm running back. I want all the noise on the track, running laps, yeah, like I'm